Hi, this is Jim. In this tutorial, I'd like to demonstrate how to use this jQuery slideshow in your own project. Uh, the slideshow can be found at slidesjs.com. Once you hit that website, see on the home page here you have a download link, so you can download the zip file and then extract it to your hard drive. The specific slideshow that I'm going to be working with is in the standard folder. So here's what the slideshow looks like. The default configuration, which again is found in the standard folder. And here's what I want to do to it. I want to make this entire slideshow 200 pixels wider. So basically, if you go back to the original, see a frame border here, the image inside, which by the way is 570 pixels wide. And you see these navigation controls here. You see the next button, and you have the previous button over here. Also below the slideshow, you have these pagination controls. So by clicking on any one of them, you actually advance to that specific slide. So again, this is what the default configuration is, and here's what I want to achieve, where I actually have slides and the entire slideshow being 200 pixels wider. So the first thing I want to do is actually open up that index.html file, and I've opened it here inside a Dreamweaver. And the first thing you want to change is the frame itself. So you have here example-frame.png, so it's an image file. And if you notice here, the width is 739 pixels. So what you want to do is bump this up to 939 pixels. So I've opened the that specific example-frame.png file inside Fireworks, and the first thing I want to do, if you notice here, what I've done is you want to increase the canvas size from 739 to 939 pixels wide. And if you note here, I also keep the height exactly the same, so it's 341 pixels tall. So what I have here is simply the canvas being increased by 200 pixels. And now I want to do something to this specific frame you see here. This frame is actually 600 pixels wide, but you really can't see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to draw a rectangle, and I'm going to draw it over the one that's already there. And the objective here is to build another border, which you see down here is 15 pixels wide, and the width requirement is going to be 800 pixels. The height will stay the same, and the height is actually 300 pixels. So now what I'm going to do is just move this down and try and superimpose it on the other frame. And I'm also going to align this this rectangle that I have here centered with respect to the canvas. So what I'm going to do here is simply save it, and a note: when you create a production version, you're probably going to want to get rid of these this vertical line here and the vertical line over here, which is from the old frame, but I'm just superimposing my rectangle on top of theirs. So now what I have here is the existing width, even though I changed the image to be 200 pixels wider. I need to change it here in the code. So now my example-frame is 939 pixels wide. So I'm just going to save this file, and I'll show you what I have so far. And it just looks like a little wider frame. And So now what I'm going to do is images. I'm just going to reduce this for now by deleting these. So I'm actually left with 3 images. And you can see the source code for that here. Since I've deleted those images, now I want to change the ones that are left. So I want to take the width requirement from 570 up to 770 pixels. So I'm going to do that in all 3 of them. So then I'm going to save that file, and I'm going to see what I got now. And if you notice here, we have the border. So what we have here is the border appearing on the screen, and now what we're going to do is make some more changes inside the global.css file. So we're going to switch over to that, having made the changes inside the HTML file. Now we just go over to the global.css file, and we're going to start making some changes here. So for example, here you see the width being 580 pixels. We're going to change that to 780. In this specific ID here, example, we're going to change the 600 to 800. Down here where we have this frame ID, we're going to change that from 739 to 939. Down here where we have the class slides_container, we're going to change that to 770 pixels. And here we have class slides_container for the A link. We're going to change that to 770. And let's see what we get right now. So we're going to save that, having made those changes. And now we're going to display it inside Firefox again. And you notice now that it's actually the width we want. The only problem is we have this next button over here stuck in the middle of our image, and we actually want it on the far right. So let me go back inside Dreamweaver, and what I'm going to do is actually take this specific image, and I'm going to move it. So I'm going to do something like this with it. So if I move it over here like this, it may not be the right height for now, but I've just moved that over outside the frame border. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to come back over to Firefox. So like I said, I'm going to go back over to Firefox, do a refresh, and I see the next button outside the frame border, which is what I want. I actually see it a little too far to the right. So I'm going to go back into Dreamweaver, and I'm going to move this back to the left a bit. Move it back 1 pixel. So I'm going to save the document plus the CSS file. I'm going to go back to Firefox, and I've moved the next button just a bit back to the left. The other thing you notice, these pagination controls. Okay, now for example, I want to move these controls inside the image. So let me show you how to do that. So I'll go back to my index.html document. I'm going to take a look at the code for the global.css file, and I notice down in here for the pagination control, what what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open that up in Dreamweaver, and I see here the top, it's 26 pixels, so the margin at the top is 26 pixels from the container which holds the slideshow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to minus, say, 100. But that in itself is not really going to work, because actually you need to make one other change, and that's in this positioning element. You need to change this to relative, and also the Z index, you might want to set this to about 800. Okay, so let me make that change, and I'll show you exactly how it looks inside the global.css file. You see here, what I've done here is the margin top set to 100 pixels negative, so it'll be moved up. The position has become relative, it didn't exist before. The Z index is 800. So now let's take a look inside Firefox, and if you notice, now you see the pagination control basically right in the middle. So, you know, maybe you want to move that up, say another 200 pixels. So I'm going to go right over here. I'm going to change this to negative 300, and let's take a look now and see what we got. So if you notice, oh, that's a little bit too far up, but in any case, you get the idea that set the pagination control, you have to change the code inside this pagination class. So in this case, I set it to negative 300 for the margin top. Position, you have to set it to relative, otherwise you won't see the pagination controls. And I set the Z index to plus 800, so it overlays on top of everything else. So there's one final tweak. Let's say I want to change the position of the pagination controls so they're not centered. So what I want to do is change the right border, let's say, to a value, say 100 pixels, and I'm just going to wipe out the left definition for the box, and let's see what we got here. So let me just, if we take a look here, we have the margin right to be 100 pixels, and everything else stays the same. So now if we save this, I'm going to save that CSS file, and I'm going to go back in my browser and see exactly where I position those controls. So notice they're in the far upper left. We could do something like, let's just move them down a bit. So I'm going to go something like 280, and they're on the far left. And let's preview it again inside Firefox, and you really can't see them, but they're up there. So in any case, that's pretty much all you have to do.